Well, good. I can't even do it, dude. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Uninformed Fan. I sure thought that track had a little bit more energy when we went to it on the third. I think that was from the Open when we were talking a little golf back in the day. But anyway, welcome in, everybody. Welcome into the Uninformed Fan. We're back again. Jeff's looking good as usual, but very confused. So let's hear it, Jeffrey. What are we thinking there?
Do you think that that was a bagpipe that was playing, or do you think that maybe Mount was more of like
It's definitely a bagpipe. The name of the
so?
track is called Scottish Highland Bagpipes.
Okay, well, you answered my question. Thank you very much. I'm not privy to that information to be able to see the track. I just
I'm very cultured, very
and
cultured.
get hyped to whatever you're playing, and so that was about it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
you know, a lot of the hype went out when we stopped using DMCA music. Yeah, a lot of that hype kind of went out when we kind of had to come up with our own.
I'm going to reach out to my boy Drake and see if we can use some Iceman samples and see what happens. So we'll find out from there.
Yeah, probably not. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. We've had a very amazing week, I guess, over the last week. As we predicated on our last show, we did have our big NFL fantasy football draft. This was it this week?
It was on Tuesday.
It was on Tuesday. Yeah. Wow. Time sure flies.
We've been hungover since then.
Yeah, Wednesday was definitely a struggle for the stream because I did a break on Wednesday. Definitely a struggle, Jeffrey. Definitely a struggle. You know, guys, we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna hammer Jeff right off the back because looking at Jeff's team, I absolutely hate it, which means he's probably gonna win. Looking at my team, I love my starters, hate my bench. However, ESPN has said that I'm going to win, obviously. There was no doubt about the draft. But first, Jeff, before we get into one of the more outstanding picks, what are your thoughts on the ESPN rankings? And is that a kiss of death when you come out of it with an A or an A+?
I mean, I'd hope not, because we both came out with A ratings. So hopefully ESPN rankings are accurate. Obviously, like I said, though, this is all based off of projections and what you think is going to happen. You really, truly have no idea. We can say strength of schedule. Okay, like the strength of schedule is going to be much different from what we project at the beginning of the year, but it actually is at the very end of the year. So, and especially one of the other things, too, is that there's so much variance in football, as well as like, what's the word? I'm drawing a blank here. Unfortunately, I'm normally not drawing a blank at a loss for words. But basically, there's a parity is what I'm looking for. There's a lot of parity. So from year to year. So a lot of times you'll see a team that finishes last in the division the year before, finish first in the division the next year. Now you can say that's because they're playing a fourth place schedule or whatever it is. But there's a lot of different moving parts when it comes to pro football, especially in parity, and you never know what can happen with injuries and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, who knows? Really, truly, who knows? But listen, all I can do is win 1 week at a time. That's what we're on to Mike Fitzpatrick. Week 1, we're gonna try to get this dub no matter what happens, and then we're gonna move forward to week 2 with whoever we're playing from there, and then the same over and over again. So
well, I'd have to say, majority of the picks went pretty much as expected. Not really a huge lot of shockers. I did shock myself by taking Brock Bowers in the third third round, which I never do. So we'll see how that works out. I guess if we want to say one of the more surprising picks of the entire draft was made by you, Jeff. In the second round with the 15th overall pick, Jeffrey select Josh Allen out of Wyoming and Buffalo Bills. Yeah. For a man that hates all of his receivers, Josh Allen in the second round. Explain the thought process behind that.
I mean, I just wanted to take the guy who's going to lead our entire league in fantasy points. And I figured take him when he's available. Well, remains to be seen, remains to be found out. I mean, hopefully he can stay healthy all year and has a great year. No clue.
Well, I think the health factor, Josh has been pretty much relatively healthy. Throughout his career, right?
We've been very blessed. I think that this is kind of a make or break year for Buffalo. I think that Josh is in a position right now where, being recently married, having a newborn, stuff like that. It's a really good time to be locked in. As somebody who's had kids before, I know what happens, and I know what happens when they get to be 2, 3, and 4 years old, and those are nightmare ages until they get a little bit older, a little bit more settled in. So I just think this is a big year for Josh. I think he's very high on his chi right now and just where he's at. And I think personal life absolutely will play over into what's going on in the field a lot of times when you see things. So, yeah, I mean, to me,
I would agree with that to a certain point, but didn't he also come out and say that, after being married and having children and all this, that he realized that there's more to life than football?
Sure.
Great. That is somebody that's not 100% locked.
I'm okay. I think he's pretty locked in. And I think he has great support from his spouse as well, too, to be completely locked in. So I think he's just talking about feelings and being a human being and where he's at. So listen,
if you can support the scene out of Sinners, then I think she can support the football.
Yeah, Chad, this has nothing to do with anything about like actual real football. This is just putting up fantasy stats. In the league that we play in, like I said, it's 6 points for every touchdown. So whether it's a rushing or a passing touchdown, I'm going to take the guy who's probably going to lead the league in touchdowns at the quarterback position, a guy who's going to still be able to get out of the pocket and run the ball, a guy who does have weapons everywhere all over the field and is able to dump one down and have guys that break it for big plays. We also play in a league that has very big play bonuses as well, too, 40 yards. You get bonuses for 300-yard passing, 100-yard rushing. I have no problem with my pick. I know a lot of people do. That's absolutely okay. I know you're a big advocate for Lamar Jackson, and that is not a problem whatsoever.
No.
I know we have a bet of who has more fantasy points this year. So
I'm very curious at the end of the season, the disparity between Josh Allen and Matt Stafford. That's what that's all I'm saying. I think I got Matt Stafford in the 5th or 6th round. That's all I'm saying. Is it that much? I think if I were to say, Jeff, that it was a 50-point difference throughout the season, would that be way off, do you think? Or do you think that would be a acceptable?
Acceptable?
Would that be an acceptable gap for you? 50 points more, or do you think more than that?
I think it'll be pushing a little bit more than that for sure. More than 50 points.
So we're looking about 5 points a game difference.
Sure. Well, over
definitely make or break.
I mean, if you're talking about over a 16 game
14
season,
games.
Well, 14 regular season games, right? But we're hopefully shooting for 16 or 17 if we can. So
we do 16 or 17 is even less. Then we're only talking like 2 to 3 points a game. So yeah, I did that over the 14 points over the 14 games.
What you're saying is 5 points more over 14 games, right?
If you do 50 points, if you do 50 points, it's like 3.5 points a game. Yeah, average.
Would you rather have Matt Stafford's weapons or Josh Allen's weapons?
I'd rather have Matt Stafford's weapons.
Really?
Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams versus Keon Coleman and DJ Moore.
I think that there is an aspect of that, though, where I think both of them are great play callers. When you talk about Joe Brady and you talk about Sean McVay, skill set wise, it's not even close. I mean, Stafford is one of the best throwers of all time, but Josh just being able to make plays and get out of the pocket and make things happen with his legs as well, too.
Well, I will tell you from a fantasy value, you're absolutely right. Matt Stafford is not going to have to do as much as Josh Allen. So in that fact, he will have to put on the Superman cape, and hopefully he'll rack up the points. I'm not hating the pick. I'm always the big.
You do hate the pick.
Go get who you want. No, I don't. I just like giving you shit. Go get who you want, which is why I took the Texans in like the 12th round before anybody was even thinking of defenses.
Listen, you weren't the only person who hated the pick or was shocked that I went Jamar Chase, Josh Allen, and Trey McBride as my first 3 picks. And it wasn't something that I really had on my bingo card, honestly, but it's just kind of the way that things fell. And there was a lot of reaching in the first 2 rounds from people, in my opinion, on players. And if those players fell to me, cool. If they didn't, I wasn't going to reach the other way. I'd rather reach for the guys who I think are going to be number 1 at their position rather than
what do you think was the biggest reach in the draft that we had?
Oh,
you mentioned the big reaches there.
I'd have to go back and look.
I thought maybe you had something off the top of your head. No worries. Well,
no. I mean, I got some shit for drafting Etienne as well too, as high as I did. in the fourth round or whatever it was. So,
that's a very interesting backfield. I know we're going to get into that on a Friday. That's a very interesting backfield, even with Kamara's injury, whatever. Throw that out. Even if Kamara is completely healthy, I'm very, very curious. We'll get into that a little bit. I know we talked a little bit about it. To me, that is ETN as the workhorse and Kamara in the goal line. But we'll see how that works out. I mean, because we all know ETN can bust open those 30, 40-yard runs for touchdowns as well. So we'll get into that. Let's get into the NFC East first, Jeffrey. We have the NFC East. I had my little thingy-majigger here, and I got sidetracked because
I'm gonna piss some people off with these takes today about the NFC East, but that's okay.
Ooh, here we go. Jeff's a hot mic already. Well, let's get into it.
Real quick, did want to shout out Justice. Thank you for being in the chat here with the family as well too. Congratulations on the newborn yesterday as well. Much love, much happiness, positive vibes, everything. Congratulations, happiness,
absolutely,
health,
congratulations.
Blessings. Very, very happy.
Glad you guys are in the hospital here tuning in. That's commitment on the level.
Give Rachel and JJ our best, and hope all is well.
The Eagles took the division last year at 11-6, Cowboys at 7-9, Commanders 5-12, the Giants at 4-13. Easily one of the worst divisions in football last year. A lot of it did rely on the injuries. Obviously, the trade for Micah Parsons, which, looking back on it, was it right at the time? But to me, the Dallas defense got stronger with the other acquisitions that they had made. So let's just start with the defending champion, Philadelphia Eagles, Jeff. Obviously, A.J. Brown's going to be the biggest story heading over to the New England Patriots. Another new coordinator for Jalen Hurts. This is his fourth or fifth one. Pretty much they spit him out every year. Passing offense was pretty pedestrian again last year, 23rd, and they scored 20 or fewer points 10 times, including the playoff loss. There was definitely no synergy there, which was actually confirmed by A.J. Brown when he had his interview with Sal Paolantonio. He was talking about, hey, have you reached out? You talked to any of because they're having joint practices this week. He goes, yeah, I've talked to, a lot of them. And he's like, well, have you talked to Jalen? He's like, nah, but I'm sure I will at some point. Obviously, it just goes to the discourse over there. Let's start with the A.J. Brown loss, Jeffrey. Obviously, they draft, was it Mekhi Lemon? I don't know if that's his first name correct.
Yeah,
hey, look at that. Mekhi Lemon to replace it. Devonta Smith comes over as the new number one. What do you think about, first of all, Jeff, how big is the A.J. Brown loss to the Eagles going to impact their offense?
Well, let's just be honest. The offense was putrid last year to begin with already. 100%. It was absolutely terrible. And I don't think that anything was added to make me feel like it's going to get any better whatsoever. So losing A.J. Brown to me is a huge piece, especially,
for your jump balls.
For sure. And now you have Devontae Smith as your number one, and now Mekhi Lemon's going to kind of work out of that as well too. But he's been hurt, so he hasn't really been practicing or anything. They're in a tough spot. I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles make the playoffs this year.
Wow, hot take from Jeffrey. He said they were going to come in spicy.
I think that their defense will still be very good. You still have Jordan Davis. You still have Jalen Carter. I think their secondary is a bit overrated to me. Quinyon Mitchell is fine. I think he's a good DB. I don't think he's great. Cooper DeJean, Reed Blankenship, not really on my list of people who are great. They've made big time plays. They were Super Bowl champions. They were phenomenal. I just don't see it happening. Obviously, you lose Nakobe Dean. They still have Zach Bond there in the middle as well. We'll see what the edges are like if they're really able to get pressure. My problem is I don't see a whole lot going on in this offense. I don't see how Jalen Hurts is going to be able to sit back, make the proper reads consistently, and make the throws where he needs to. We haven't seen it. We saw it. We
didn't see a lot of it last year, though, because that offensive line was absolutely decimated. That's going to be another big question. Are they getting those pieces back?
I don't really care. I think that at the end of the day, their defense, the defenses that they're going to be playing, I would take the defensive lines over their O-line in many spots. So I think Dallas is 100% the play here. I know Chad said it, and then a lot of times we are symbiotic when it comes to these things. I love Dallas this year. I think this is Dallas's year. I don't mind if you want to take them to not only win the division, but also maybe win the conference as well. I just think they're really set up well. But when it comes to Philly, I don't love it. Sirianni has never been a guy that I've liked. I don't think he's a great X's and O's guy. He's a rah guy, but I think he's a complete dickhead when it comes to a lot of those situations. Much like Sean Payton's great X's and O's.
I was getting ready to say, Jeff, which one's worse?
It's even tough to compare. Sirianni's always been very blessed with great, coordinators, and he still has Fangio that's there. That's going to be fine for the defense. I guess the defense will still be good. I think there will be a lot of unders, especially primetime unders that I'll be on. There will be a lot of kicking props that I will be on when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles and Elliott. So I don't think this offense is going to be able to score enough. I think that they haven't
really even seen the offense yet, right? We're bringing in a Shanahan tree offense with Sean Mannion, right? Okay. We don't really know what's going to happen there. We did. What? Have you seen? We don't know.
You're right. What's going on? I said, sure. You're right. You are right. You are correct.
Yeah,
but my hypothesis is that it doesn't matter if you don't have the correct pieces and you don't have the guy behind quarterback. And I don't think Jalen Hurts is the guy. That's it.
I mean, he's only a Super Bowl winning MVP quarterback, but I guess I see your point. I think, we bring in another offensive coordinator this year. Jalen Hurts looks to be slimmed down a little bit more mobile, and I think that is going to be the X factor once again. First of all, I do believe the offensive line is extremely huge in regards to what exactly you said. Is he going to be able to sit back there and pass? But we've all seen it when we have the Kirk Cousins or the ones that grow tree roots when they're back in the pack and they offer no threat of running whatsoever. It definitely changes the defense. It allows them to play a lot more aggressive. I think if they get back to that play style where Jalen Hurts has the threat to move around and is worthy of what we're seeing him drafted in quarterback rankings in, the third, fourth round, or the third or fourth quarterback taken off the board, I think that they have a chance. To your point, I don't know how you replace A.J. Brown. I know that, your Devonta Smith is no slub. He does very, very well, but that's a huge loss. I mean, you still have Saquon Barkley in the backfield. Let's not forget. He also had a huge down year last year off of the big year. But when we looked back at the 2 years ago, that run that they had, I think they had 2,000 yards on the ground. They were a running football team. To your point, I'm curious to see what type of style this comes in, man. I think you're going to see a lot of under center. I see you're going to see a lot of play action. And if Jalen Hurts can bust open a few runs here and there, then I think that, that offense will open up a little bit. I'm very, very concerned about the wide receiver level, though. Very, very concerned.
Yeah, me too.
You have Devonta Smith.
If I'm getting plus money to bet them not to make the playoffs, I don't really mind that as well too. And I know I'm going to be in the minority here. I don't care. There's always a take that I have that I'm in the minority on every single year. Does not bother me whatsoever. I don't think Philly's very good.
So outside, we already talked about Jalen Hurts. I think we can both agree, at least with Jalen Hurts and the ADP. I don't think he's anywhere near that value. I think we both agree there, correct?
That I'm sorry, that he's what?
ADP of Jalen Hurts is not worth it. Where he's being drafted at in an analytical point from the fantasy quarterback level.
Still have the tush push. He's still going to get maybe a touchdown a game off of that. He is going to have to run the ball a lot, coming out of the pocket and trying to make plays, I think. And so I wouldn't take him in the fourth or fifth round. Where was he taken? Fourth round, fifth round of our draft, something like that. But it was funny too. Actually, TJ, now that you mention it, yeah,
Mike's coming off QB6.
Mike Fitzpatrick going 2 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends in the first 6 or 7 rounds was something.
Mike's drafts are always just something. I mean, that's just a shit show, and a lot of times it works though. Which
another guy, and shout out to my boy Joe. He always starts off like that. It's like he starts drafting, and you're like, who is this guy? What is he doing? He finishes top 4 every year somehow. And by the end of the draft, you're like, okay, well, there was a little bit of a plan there. It looks like so.
So yeah, I'm thinking, at least for fantasy for the Eagles, it's going to be. I don't like where Jalen Hurts is QB6 overall. I don't like it. I actually hate Jaden Daniels even more, which we're going to talk about that. But I think that it's still safe with Saquon Barkley. I mean, you're getting him now in like RB10. I think that's great value right there. My question with Devonta Smith is we just don't know, man. We just don't know. And I would stay away from any wide receiver from the Eagles. I feel very, very comfortable with Saquon Barkley and the value that you're getting at that position with RB10. But Jalen Hurts, to me, I don't see it, especially when you're putting him in the same categories as, Caleb Williams, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, all going after him. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm with it. Like I said, I don't see where the path is there for them. So, but like I said, could absolutely be wrong.
We agree on a few things every once in a while. Jeff, the Dallas Cowboys 7-9-1 last year. Are the Cowboys underrated this year? You know, the Cowboys are kind of the shit show of the NFL, right? Always talking about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
What moves did Jerry Jones do? What moves did he not? Obviously, George Pickens coming in, playing on the franchise tag. I like the moves, man. We talked about this before, especially with, Micah Parsons being traded. If you draft really, really well, you can't keep everybody. And whether you like it or not, the Cowboys tend to hit on their draft picks. It just is what it is. They end up getting a few more. Brought in Quentin Williams, showed up. They got the kid out of Ohio State for the defensive. What's his name again?
Caleb Downs.
Caleb Downs, which could be one of the most impactful players on defense that we see this year. Jeff, are all signs pointing up for the Dallas Cowboys this year?
Listen, they're going to play a lot of primetime games too. So if you're telling me that you want to bet on Caleb Downs for defensive rookie of the year or even defensive player of the year for a little sprinkle, I don't mind that whatsoever. I think he is an incredible athlete. I think he's a guy who can communicate and play on the back end. He can also guard CeeDee Lamb one-on-one in coverage. He is a special, special player. And, shout out to the Cowboys for going out there and getting him. I love Dallas this year. I just think what they've done to strengthen their lines. Obviously, they pick up an edge in the draft as well, too. And yeah, I just think that this is the year, if they're going to have the year, this is the year. You're catching Dak with a brand new coordinator. I thought Schottenheimer was decent last year. I thought if CeeDee Lamb doesn't absolutely forget how to catch the football in week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe that looks a little bit different in terms of the way that season plays out as well, too. And so, yeah, I really like Dallas. I think they got it going. I think that they'll be able to run the ball. I think the Dak and the play action will open things up as well, too. They have great wide receivers. They have home run hitters. They have a good defense. They have continuity coming back off of last year. Give me Dallas to win this division all day long. And I think they're at plus 300 or something like that. So
when we talked about the offense, when we talked about Dallas, the offense last year was never the problem.
No.
I mean, they were putting up 40 points and losing. Yeah, it was the defense.
And you remember, obviously, Dak got hurt at a certain point in there as well, too. And then I believe when they traded for Quentin Williams, things started to move for them. And also, let's not forget, too, they got Frank Clark in that trade they had with the Packers when they traded Micah Parsons, who was one of the best run stoppers in the entire NFL. So they really solidified the middle of that defense as well, to be able to take care of the run, which is something they got bludgeoned on over and over again. So I think they've done a great job of and this is tough to say with Jerry Jones, but personnel wise, filling holes that they needed to fill. And I think they've done really well. Now let's see what happens. Like I said, if you want to take them to win a conference or win whatever, I have no problem with it. My problem is that I know that Dak turns into a pumpkin when a certain time of year hits, and that's usually playoffs. And so I don't ever want to bet on Dak in the playoffs, personally.
Can we just talk about the fall of grace of Matt Eberflus for a moment? Like, is Indianapolis doing a well enough job to get hired as the head coach of the Chicago Bears? Has some issues, obviously, in the second or whatever third season. I think it was second season. Takes over as the defensive coordinator during that season. Revamps that defense. They look good again. The Bears are back in contention, right? Gets fired, goes to Dallas, inherits, I think we can all agree, an absolutely terrible personnel for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Tries to see them through that, gets fired, bring in a new defensive coordinator, and look at all of the pieces this dude has now. I mean, holy moly. R.I.P. Matt Eberflus. I mean, a lot of it is his own doing, but some of this, oh my goodness. There's no way. He's like, man, if I could have just held on, if I could figure out how to hold on for that one more, I would have had all of these other pieces. I absolutely love the pick, man. The Cowboys are usually the laughing stock of the NFL in some way, shape, or form. We'll see if that happens this year, but I actually do not mind them taking this division because, again, when you look at the division, we're going to talk about the Commanders next, the Giants. I mean, dog shit. the Commanders had some things going. We're going to talk about that. The Eagles, to your point, can we even trust them? I absolutely love the Dallas Cowboys pick here to win the division. I don't know what their over-under total is.
I think it's gotten up to 9.5.
I would take the over all day long on that. We're talking about a team that had 7 wins last year, missing Dak for a portion of the season, decimated defense, absolutely revamped defense this year, all weapons on stage. You're telling me that they can't squeeze out 3 more wins against the Giants, Commanders, and Eagles? Take that over all day long.
Over 9.5 is only -105 as well, if you're looking and searching out there on Hard Rock Bet. So
I guess I'd have to look at their total schedule. But I don't. Yeah, I can see them easily hitting 11 wins this year.
It's funny because you spoke a little bit about the Commanders, the Washington Commanders, and
I do believe dog shit was the word I use.
Yeah, and here's the sad thing is that I think they have a real quarterback in Jaden Daniels. I think that they got to be able to do a better job. They already lost Laremy Tunsil for the year. I mean, and I loved the Diggs pickup. I thought when they signed Diggs, you finally give him a second guy with McLaurin. I think Diggs is a great route runner. He's got great hands. He makes every quarterback he plays with better. And I loved it. I don't know, man. The defense I still think is super questionable. The line to me is going to be a problem. And Jaden, when you look at him, he's so like skinny and lanky. And I always said to myself, I was like, if a guy like Cam Newton can't make it without getting injured in the NFL, a guy that large and that big can't play that style and not get hurt and have a sustained NFL career, you can't tell me that these guys who are, 50 pounds less than Cam are going to make it. You just can't. I don't care how much yoga or core or whatever that you think that you can go out there and do. It doesn't make sense to me. But I love Jaden. I think Jaden has a chance to be really good. The mom thing he's got to separate himself from. It's just become a bad look over and over again with everything that's happened. Now you have the whole jersey thing that's going on. The fact of like him sitting somewhere where his mom is, and he's sitting next to Juju Watkins, who's a superstar for USC, women's basketball player, right? He's from Cali. They know each other. They're cool. They're kicking it. Mom makes it a point to go sit in between them at halftime so that they can't talk to each other. Like that little stuff like that to me is just so petty and unnecessary. And it's a perfect dichotomy and a resemblance of what just happened with him going with this entire LSU thing and not wearing the number 5. So, I don't
think that came from mommy.
Absolutely. 100%.
Well, to your point, I look at Jaden Daniels like a wet noodle. I really do. He's just very, very thin, very skinny. And when you play that type, that worked in college, but that's not going to work in the NFL, man. These guys are headhunters. They're going out there. They're you can say they're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to put you in the ground. Like when they come at you, they're trying to hurt you. And to your point, he could be one of the purest passers that I've seen in quite some time. The way that he just flicks that ball and it's, it drops right into the receiver's hands. But to your point, is he going to have time? He's got to beef up. I don't know how old he is, but he needs to get in the weight room, man. When you look at the difference between just him and Caleb Williams in size,
I think he's 24, somewhere around.
I mean, Caleb Williams looks almost double the size of Jaden.
What are you holding up, Jeremy? I can't see.
Are you clicking something, by the way?
Oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah, thank you. What does Jeremy have?
I don't know.
We can't see it.
Oh, it's a tissue. Never mind.
Oh, we thought it was nose.
We thought it was a communication about how old Jaden Daniels was. Apologize to the 3-time. Didn't mean to put him on the spot there.
Put him on the spot would have been putting him on the screen while he's blowing his nose.
Right.
We would never. Oh, Jeff did though. I would never. To your point, Larry Tunsil, I think is probably the biggest thing, right? I mean, to your point, you go out and get Stephon Diggs. Love that 1-2 combo punch. Who's their tight end?
It was Zach Ertz, but this is actually a sleeper who I don't think people are really like locking into. Chiki Okongowo, who actually played for Tennessee the past few years, who was just like he would just catch those little screen passes and scamper off for 40 and 50 yards sometimes. Home run hitter, really good player. They picked him up in the offseason. I actually liked that pickup. Ertz is still out there. I guess he's still shopping and looking for a team. He just had a workout with Andrew Luck actually at Stanford, his former quarterback in college, where he was showcasing that he's healthy and ready to go. So we'll see if somebody picks him up. I don't see any path that Washington finishes better than last in this division.
Well, let's talk about it then. So then you feel like the New York Football Giants are going to make that jump this year then?
I'm going to be in a very big minority here, I think, as well too. But I think one of the things that does benefit the Giants, they do have to they have a backup quarterback. We know that Jackson Dart.
Here we go.
What have you seen from Jameis in the past 2 or 3 years that has told me that he's not a good quarterback?
The fact that he's not a starter, the fact that he turns the ball over, the fact that he's a gunslinger. If you had a 4-game stretch, Jeffrey, where you just needed your quarterback to not lose the game, Jameis Winston is your go-to?
Exactly. I mean, if you want Jameis Winston or Jake Browning, like give me Jameis all day long. You want Jameis Winston or you want JJ McCarthy or Carson Wentz? Give me Jameis.
Carson Wentz.
No, I would get Jameis Winston all day.
You just want somebody that's not going to turn over the ball.
Yeah, I do feel that, Chad Blue Tent. I do think that will be a dominating factor here as well too. I know Jackson Dart's frustrated by it. It's like, bro, how do you not get it? You can only have so many concussions. You can only go so many times head first into dudes in the NFL before they're gonna, rope you up, NFLPA, make you go there. It's for your own safety and protection, supposedly. I think they're gonna have a lot of that this year. I do like Harbaugh. I know some people don't. I think a lot of people think he underachieved in Baltimore. I think that's more of a personnel thing and an attitude that their team had in terms of the players. I actually really like their defense that they have here. There we go. We could say that. We could say that, there was good players there and they weren't motivated by Harbaugh. But I think that also at certain points, it does come down to the players to be motivated as well, too. He's constantly had guys poached from his staff over and over again as well. Like I said, I'm going to be in the minority here. I think the Giants have a chance to finish second in this division. I'm not going to take them to make the playoffs. I do think that their floor is probably 6.5, 7 games in wins, which means that their ceiling could be 8 or 9. So again, I don't have them making the playoffs, but I do have them finishing second in this division.
I think it's a very interesting room, right? Especially when we look on the offensive side of the ball. Cam Scadaboo is going to be your starting. Will Malik Neighbors be back to 100%? Not necessarily looking at Darius Slayton and Calvin Austin Jr. I'm looking at the ones behind him, Darnell Mooney and Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah. What production are we going to get out of them? Because if you're getting Darius Slayton and Calvin Austin to get some good reps, get some good separations, and then for blows, you're putting in OBJ and Mooney.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a deep wide receiver room. I mean, I'm not putting Darius Slayton and Calvin Austin up on some big pedestal. Obviously, there's a big drop off from Malik Neighbors to those guys. But when you have 4, so if you want to do S tier, A tier, B tier, but if I have 4 A tiers and 1 S, like that's going to make up for a lot of things. I absolutely love the Isaiah Likely pickup. Harbaugh bringing him over from the Ravens. I think that he can be an absolutely great tight end. We saw a lot of great catches from him. But as a lot of people will say, first year, new coach, new offensive systems. And from my understanding, did they not bring over Matt Nagy as their offensive coordinator from the Chiefs?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not 100% on how that's going to work out either. Everybody knows my feelings on Matt Nagy and what he did in Chicago, this, that, and the other. Obviously, he goes back to Kansas City, revamps a few things over there, and they thought so much of him because I thought he was going to get another job or an interview that they went ahead and brought in Bieniemy from the Bears to replace him before he even had a job. So I don't think that everybody's looking too much at him. We'll see how that offense goes. Defensive-wise, I mean, you picked up Tremaine Edmonds from the Bears. You have Abdul Carter, which is a little bit underperformed last year. Greg Newsome, you got some pieces. But I don't oh, boy, now he's in trouble. Oh, boy. Guys, if you're not watching live and you're watching on the pod or just watching via the sound, there's an absolutely movie going on behind Jeff. One of the children's trying to come in and play. The grandmother, I'm presuming, Jeff Nod, if that's correct, is trying to wrangle him out, and he is having absolutely none of it. He wants his toys that are on that table, and he is going not to stop until he gets the toys. Looks like said toy might be in the possession now, and he is making a dash for it from the 20 to the 10. Yes, he is back down the stairs, and we have touchdown. Way to go, everybody. Way to go. Jeffrey, give me the play-by-play.
There's just one more terrorist in a bunker up here that is being searched for. And hopefully SEAL Team 6 can go ahead and locate that individual and extract them from the buriedness that she has decided to entrench herself in. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's my biggest question is what does Matt Nagy bring to the table these days? You know, we all know that Kansas City, the offense is run through Andy Reid. So when we're looking at other things, you know, what he brought over to the Bears didn't really work. Went back to the Chiefs. They had one of their worst seasons ever. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not big on the Giants. I think it's going to take at least a year. You know, kind of like what we talked about Caleb Williams with his first season with Ben Johnson. Like, it's going to take a year for, you know, to get used to the system, get into the plays. To me, I hate to say it, Giants fans, if you're listening, it's another throwaway year, bro.
Can I also say one other thing, too? And I know it's not an actual stat that we're taking into consideration here. New York's kind of on fire right now. In terms of sports teams and what's going on. Obviously, we saw what the Knicks just did and the run that they're going on right there. I think that there's a certain electricity that's going on. I think there's a lot of good, positive vibes around this team, and I think that's going to count for an extra win or two.
Okay, so we're up to 4 wins now. Awesome, guys. Awesome. And what does 4 to 5 to 6 wins get you, Jeffrey? Just a worse draft pick. You might as well just tank.
Like I said, I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I do think that they will hit their over on wins, in my opinion.
And what is their over under?
I believe it's 7, somewhere around there. Let me check real quick. I got you.
That was a nice
7.5.
That was a nice tone you brought in there.
7.5. So I don't mind the over 7.5 there. -110 both ways.
All right, let's get into the NFC West. Probably the toughest and best division in football this year.
Yeah.
They might have taken the crown from the NFC North. We'll see what happens. But this is where things get really interesting. Seattle, which I don't think any of us really predicted Seattle to be a Super Bowl champion last year.
No.
At all. No. That's the beautiful thing. 7.5 is the win total, Jeff. Give me the under all day long. Probably going against Chad there, but we'll see.
Chad has the under as well, too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Seattle coming off a Super Bowl championship. The Rams coming off a 12-5 season. The 49ers coming off a 12-5 season, besides getting absolutely destroyed by the power plant over there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, then we have Arizona, which honestly, Arizona's made some really cheeky moves. I kind of like what I saw a little bit on the preseason. But let's start with the Seattle Seahawks, Jeff. Can Sam Darnold pull the magic out of the bottle again? Can they be competitive again? I'm not even going to ask if they can repeat as a Super Bowl champion because I'm going to say that's even further away than last year's. But, Jeff, talk to me a little bit about the Seattle Seahawks. Can they repeat any of this magic going into this year?
Still going to have a good defense. They still have a generational
lost a few pieces, though. They
lost unbelievable guy in McDonald, who is a really good X's and O's and a great game planner and caller at coach. So, I think defense will still be absolutely fine. The offense worries me. We have always been wondering about when Sam Darnold will turn into a pumpkin. Obviously, you lose Kenneth Walker and you go off of him, and Jadarian Price is going to take over there and for what they hope be a really good cog in the run game. And eventually, you're going to have Zach Charbonnet back in a few weeks as well too, to be able to mix in there for some
not
goal
a few
line
weeks.
work.
We're looking about I think I saw mid to late November.
Is that how long it is?
Yeah, that's why I did not pick him up. I was very surprised when he went that high in our draft, to be honest with you. Because when you're talking about a mid to late November, guys, like
I knew it was pup, but I didn't know.
That's a lot of time for setbacks, in my opinion, as well, which is why I didn't take him.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be pup, but I didn't know if it was going to be that long. So yeah, that is a little bit worrisome. I see them taking a step back. I know Chad likes him, I think, to win the division. I think they're probably it's really close between them and the Rams in terms of actual division futures. Their regular season win total is 10.5.
I'd have to look at the strength of schedule because I think the West is going to beat each other up this year. Absolutely beat each other up. But to your point, the defensive players, I mean, they lost Kobe Bryant, Boy Mafi, and Rick Woolen. You know, three of their starters. Yeah, three of the very, very impactful players. I mean, those are going to be pretty tough to replace. It is the NFL next man up. You know, obviously there was backups going into that as well. I think that's going to be a very, very tough thing to fill. You know, we talked about the rookie coming in. Can he replace Kenneth Walker III? JSN. Can JSN recapture what he did last year? Is he not the highest paid receiver?
I believe so. So, Jeremy, I saw it in the private chat. You said Terrion Arnold signed with Seattle. He did sign with Seattle. He's going on the commissioner's exempt list to start. So even though he is signed with Seattle, he is in no way, shape, or form playing right now. I think that they have to allow the legal process to play out before he's allowed to do anything with Seattle. So yes, they got Terrion Arnold hypothetically, but I don't know. Unless Terrion Arnold miraculously comes up with something like for his lawyer that they get all that evidence thrown out. I don't know how Terrion Arnold is walking around as a free person, much less playing games in the NFL.
Innocent until proven guilty, Jeffrey.
He's pretty guilty. They have him FaceTiming during the kidnapping, making sure that everything is up to par with what was going on. So yeah.
How did they get that? Someone recorded it? Bro.
No clue, bro.
Guys, reset your iPhones immediately. Wipe all the data.
Wipe
all the data.
When I saw the story roll out, I was like, okay, there's no way. And then I started reading into the documents and the actual indictment and reading the evidence behind it. And I was like, oh, he's never playing football again. But I thought the same thing about James Pierce. And then James Pierce comes out and gets 8 games. Henry Ruggs going to be released from prison in the next year or whatever it is and try to get back in. So yeah, I don't know. Seattle 22nd easiest, Rams 28th. So both are hard. Yeah, see, this is the thing, right? Like, if I'm going to take a division, like a future winner, I don't want to lock myself up in minus 110 with the Rams. I don't even know if I want to put it in my parlay, my division parlay, because I don't know how much it's really going to add to it, especially when you have like plus 300s that are sprinkled in there and stuff like that. So, I don't know.
I don't know either, Jeffrey. I don't know either.
I will say that I think Aaron Donald will come back and play for the LA Rams. I think that's already in the works. I think the moves that they made
before we move on to the 49ers here again. I just had a couple other questions here for the Seattle Seahawks. First of all, is Sam Darnold now considered a franchise quarterback?
Well, they paid him to be a franchise quarterback last year, and he delivered a Super Bowl.
$33 million? That's not a franchise quarterback.
And they paid him to go win games. And, listen, we can talk all you want about how Minnesota let him go. Like, let's not forget the way his tenure in Minnesota ended, which was by getting absolutely boat raced and seeing ghosts against the Lions. And then the same thing happened. You came out and you played the LA Rams and got absolutely destroyed as well. I know that had a lot to do with offensive line and stuff like that, but to me, that's still the forefront of my mind. And I know he had a lot of like great flashy plays with JSN and made good things, but he's not the reason they won the Super Bowl. It was 100% the defense and 100% Mike McDonald. We can all agree.
Well, I don't know how you can say that though, because he didn't lose the Super Bowl either. Then he might not have won it, but he didn't lose it. Okay. I think that's very key important. And, we talked about the see and go stuff. It does kind of bother me a little bit when we talk about this, first time in the playoffs in certain divisions. Very, very few quarterbacks walk into their first playoffs or their second playoffs and just look absolutely amazing. I mean, if we're talking about that, then I guess we could just talk about CJ Stroud and the same fact. CJ Stroud arguably had a worse performance than Sam Darnold, but nobody's giving up on him. But I think it's just the path that you got there, right? CJ Stroud had the one good year which basically crowned him. So therefore he gets a little bit more slack. I don't think he's going to be anybody's target for a franchise quarterback. I don't think that at all. I'll be very curious to see if they can repeat any of this same magic. To your point, again, the defense is still going to be good. The offense is still going to be decent. You still have good weapons. You still have, obviously we talk about JSN, Rashid Shaheed, Cooper Kupp. Let's not forget Cooper Kupp is still on that team. Mm-hmm. AJ Barner, great tight end who's continued to emerge. They do have the weapons. They did
lose their offensive coordinator. You have Sam Darnold in a new offensive setting and system this year. So I want to kind of see how that plays out. Obviously, you lose a guy like Kubiak, who was just a monster. That's why I got a head coaching job. So,
yep. So let me ask you this, Jeff. The Los Angeles Rams coming up next, 12-5. I think everybody's ready to crown them. And I think it's justified. And let me tell you why I think it's justified. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say one last thing as well, too, is that, if we think back to the way that this entire thing played out for them and the fact that they get a fumble recovery on a 2-point conversion in the end zone when everybody had quit on the play, that ended up leading them into being able to project them to win that division. Just those super crazy lucky plays that they benefited from in Seattle last year that kind of went against LA. Even when it came to, LA losing, against, the Falcons at the very end of the year as well, too, and stuff like that. So these crazy fluky things were they all kind of worked out really well for Seattle and fell into place. And I don't know how many times you can expect that to happen.
Well, a lot of times that needs to happen, though. I will tell you that in order for things to come together. So we shall see. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams, 12-5 last year. Obviously, as I already said, everybody's ready to crown them. And Jeff, rightfully so. I mean, The roster could be the best constructed roster in all of football. To your point, Aaron Donald is coming back. You got Myles Garrett, Donald on one. I mean, come on, man. Like the running back room is stacked. The wide receiver room stacked. You got Matt Stafford probably, coming off an MVP year, playing at one of his highest levels going into it. Unless an injury bug happens, I mean, you got the Chiefs. Unless an injury bug happens, Jeff, I mean, what happens here? I mean, obviously it's Super Bowl or bust. The Super Bowl is in your home stadium. Only one other team has done that. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure Jeff will tell me. COVID year. If we're going to count the Mickey Mouse ring as one, we got to count that as something, right?
Get out of here, bro.
I don't know, Jeff. To me, it's always like when the team has all of the things on paper, very rarely does it come together.
I agree.
Very rarely does the best team on paper win.
What was too much jizz, too much riz? Is that something that you coined? I believe was your statement when it came to that. So yes, I could definitely see this being like an overhyped play, but it's just so tough because you look at it on paper and you're like, dude, this team should be absolutely incredible. Kyron Williams in the backfield, Blake Corum set to take over and have a much larger role as well too. The offensive line is still good, even defensive line. Yeah, you gave up Jared Verse, but you still have Braden Fisk that's on there. You still have a good edge as well too. Linebacker is okay. Now you get McDuffie as well. Listen, sky's the limit, man. Like the Rams should be really, really good. You have Devontae who's healthy. Puka's healthy. Will he get any time that he's suspended for biting that girl on the back and some of the anti-Semitic things that he has uttered lately? I'm not sure. We're gonna have to wait and see. I don't know if that's as much of a crime as beating
what
up,
are we doing,
running from the police and trying to beat up your girlfriend and chasing her in your Lamborghini Urus and only getting 8 games. But what do I know? I'm just
you are uninformed, that's for sure. Were you surprised a little bit? I mean, there's really no guys. There's no reason to dig into the Rams. Okay, no. Fantasy wise, pick whoever you want. Pick whoever you want.
Yeah.
Of any of the targets. Just pick whoever you want. You'll be fine. I'll even go off Terrence Ferguson. If you're looking for a serviceable tight end that is largely going undrafted, and even in the late rounds, Terrence Ferguson had a lot of red zone targets last year as well. You got to think about, obviously Devontae Adams is going to be the number 1 red zone target. So you have him, Puka. I mean, pick whoever you want on that Rams team and just do it. Whatever, man. I don't care where you draft them either. Do whatever you got to do. were you a little surprised, Jeff, at the play of Ty Simpson in the preseason? I know you don't hold a lot to the preseason, nor do I, but there's still people fighting for jobs, fighting for roster spots. So those guys are trying out there. Were you surprised to see how well Ty Simpson performed? A lot of, they got a lot of shit for that pick. They still have him behind Stetson Bennett on the depth chart, but for a first outing, looked really good.
I just want to see it a second time. If I see it a second time, I'll be a believer. No problem.
Who also looked really good in the preseason?
I will eat crow. I have no problem doing it. Carson Beck looked great in the preseason.
Yeah, Kyle Trask looked really good in the preseason for like 3 years in a row. Fucking guy.
I can't wait for you to see him run out there tomorrow. It's gonna be great.
Oh, it's gonna be great. The freaking Bucks, you bastards. Yeah, So I really nothing else to talk about on the Rams on that at all. I think they're the team to beat, and they will have the target on the head.
Chad, appreciate you. Thank you so much, man.
Have a go, brother. Don't work too hard today. San Francisco 49ers, Jeff. Again, to me, I think for me, I think it's the Rams and 49ers. All right. Now, the 49ers obviously are just decimated every year by injuries. Just facts. You can say it's the power plant. You can say it's not. I will say it actually, with all of the injuries that they've had over the past couple of years, that CMC was not one of them. So, I mean, that's wild, right?
Yes and no. Didn't CMC start the year off hurt last year? Or he didn't play game one, something like that. I remember.
Games. He was recovering from the year before.
It was like a big scramble to pick up whoever was going to be running. Anyway,
before you get into it, I'm just looking at the depth chart right now. McCaffrey questionable, Evans questionable, Kirk questionable, Kittle out, Juszczyk questionable. The right guard is questionable. We're in preseason, bro.
By the way, did you see Mike Evans' shorts that he was wearing the other day?
No, I did not.
It felt like I was on a Brazilian beach watching a guy walk around. It was wild, skin tight, barely below his crotch area. It was crazy. And somebody said, they're like, man, you give Mike Evans 1 month in fucking San Francisco, and all of a sudden, anyway,
okay.
I actually watched them play yesterday. I wanted to watch and take in some of what I was seeing, because I knew they were going to give obviously a series to Brock Purdy, and then Mac Jones came in for a little bit as well, and they were playing the Chargers. I think that they drafted a guy in the second round this year out of Mississippi State, Stribling, I believe is his name. I watched him just get absolutely peppered with targets, and he wears 15. So it's like you're watching an old, Michael Crabtree, Jawan Jennings type deal of guys who's just getting peppered with targets by Brock Purdy. I don't know if he just loves the number, but he was making plays. He was catching balls. He was running good routes. He looked really good. If you're looking for a sleeper, I like him. Kittle, they say he might be back by week 1. Not sure. Obviously came off of the bad injury at the very end of the year there. Christian McCaffrey, I think it's just more of a management thing. You don't want to get him hurt or have him tweak anything whatsoever. Mike, he's at an age now where show up for games, basically, and come in. We know that you are dealt with soft tissue injuries your entire career. Nobody wants to re-aggravate that. And I think they're just taking it really slow. So,
which he already did tweak his hammy.
I think it was a quad.
I thought it was hammy again.
That was a quad. There was a stupid report out there that he was missing the entire preseason because he tore his hamstring or whatever it was, and it was just there's so many disinformation sites now, and this is something that I get so frustrated with. I see all my boomers who I know, and they share these quotes or whatever it is, political quotes, and they're like, "Oh, I can't. Why are you flicking me off?"
I feel like this is a direct attack on the 3-time.
It is not at all. He doesn't post anything on social media.
No, but he regurgitates them to you at your local watering hole.
Well, but sometimes I see things and I'm like, that's not a real quote. Somebody literally just clipped that, put it out there as a tweet. But people do this all the time on the internet.
No way. There's clickbait on the internet, Jeff?
They'll take a tweet of somebody talking in one box. On the other box, they'll put whatever they said, which if you listen to the actual video, they didn't say any part of that. But they're just doing it for rage bait, click farm, fucking bullshit. People fucking fall into it.
Guys, I got real important here. Major alert on the Uninformed Fan. Jeffrey has realized there's clickbait on the internet. Everybody I just want everybody to know that.
Everybody knows just clickbait on the internet. What I'm saying is that, like, the whole Mike Evans thing came out, and somebody tweets out that he, hurt his hamstring and he's out the entire preseason. He gets sent to 3 of my group chats. And I'm like, guys, this is not real. Like, it's crazy that we allow, and it's the whole, check mark thing. They're verified and blah, blah, blah.
Pay for a check mark now.
That's the other problem too. They think that that's a reliable source of information. CMC has had 2 seasons where he missed significant time. They both happened after high volume touch years. What did he do last year? He touched the ball a gazillion times. Here comes the hurt. I think there's some fact I saw. It's like anybody who's touched the ball like 400 times the year before has always been hurt the very next year. So take that for what you will. If you draft CMC, draft his handcuff, draft whoever his backup is. But like I said, I like Stradling. I think Evans will catch some touchdowns. I wouldn't expect a huge amount of volume for him. Kittle, I don't mind him. He's going to come back. He's got a great relationship with Purdy. The defense, I have questions about.
We'll see. As far as fantasy football goes, obviously Christian McCaffrey, no brainer there, mid rounds, whatever. Brian Purdy's going to be a good. I like him later in the rounds. Lot of good. One of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. Love Mike Evans for your TD touches, red zone targets. He is a touchdown machine. Debo is an interesting one. I think that he could have a very big year. My biggest thing is going to be, what is Mike Evans' production level? Is he going to command a double team anymore? What is his speed like? If that is the case and we're going to double team, then Debo has the open runs. And let's also sleep on Christian Kirk, man. He's very serviceable down there in Houston. Coming out of the slot, I would presume. But if I'm targeting things here at CMC, it's definitely still going to be George Kittle. I think if you can get him, a lot of times he's going late, because people are thinking that he's not going to be available for weeks 1 or 2. Over the end of the season, guys, does not matter. Pick him up, starting with confidence. I like a lot of good players on the 49ers team. I think the 49ers are going to be the team that's going to challenge the Rams for the top spot in this division.
Take Stradling as a flyer whenever you can, wherever he's going to kind of fall to you. I think I saw him taken like our 8th or 9th round, so I think that's probably around where he's going to be projected at. But I think he looked really good. He looked the part yesterday when I was watching him. So,
and now let's talk about the ass end of the division, the Arizona Cardinals. Haven't been relevant in years, but I think they're going to get here, Jeff. I think they're going to get some sneaky wins. I don't know what their over-under is. Don't love Jacoby Brissett at the quarterback. From what I've seen so far to Jeremiah love the way he's running, pun intended. He is running like a man possessed. He's hitting the RB buttons. He's bouncing off. He's trying to go through players. Love all of that. Will we actually see anything out of Marvin Harrison Jr. this year? I don't know. Maybe if he's got a quarterback that can see over the line, maybe he gets more balls. I don't know. We'll see how it happens there. Trey McBride's obviously going to be probably one of the top targets of this offense. To me, this offense is going to go by the quarterback, as most offenses do. However, is Jacoby Brissett the best option for the Arizona Cardinals, Jeffrey?
This year, probably, yeah. I mean, we might see a Carson Beck at some point. I'm not really sure, but I do think that
looks really good.
This is one of those years where if you're Arizona, you're not winning the division. Obviously you're going to go on hoping to. It's not, I don't want to say that. They're going to go with that mindset of try to win every game. They're professional players, but it's a really deep quarterback class coming out. So if you have a chance to be able to position yourself pretty well, I think that's a great option for you as well. I think 2 guys you didn't mention that I really love that are in this offense. Michael Wilson on the outside, I think is incredible, great hands and more facets to me. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. has the intangibles and the stuff that you look for. Michael Wilson Jr., incredible last year. Also, Tyler Algier. I think it was a sneaky pickup that they got. Yes, Jeremiah Love is a generational, unbelievable, great runner, great talent, a guy that comes around every once in a while. Are you going to run him to the ground? Probably not. Are you going to give him a ton of goal line work? Probably not. I think Algier will be in there and be in the mix. So if you're looking for a guy, and also, listen, I think Love has already started out with a little bit of a tweak that he had on a
little tweak.
So, already a guy I want to have on my roster as well, too. Definitely Tyler Algier. Keep that in mind. I think as long as you have Jacoby Brissett, Trey McBride is going to be the number 1 in this offense. He's a guy who's going to demand targets. He's going to catch balls. Even, a couple years ago when he didn't perform any touchdowns whatsoever. I think he caught like 100 balls and caught like 2 touchdowns. Last year, he comes back. I think catches 11 touchdowns last year. So we're looking for something probably less than 11, but probably, the ceiling is probably going to be, the floor is probably going to be around 6. So I think you're looking for anywhere between 6 and 11. A lot of catches, not a crazy amount of yards, but,
a little more than a tweak, actually. High ankle sprain.
Right.
Was actually evaluated to see if it needed surgery, which it doesn't. But let me just say, high ankle sprains, nothing to joke with. They don't know if he's going to be ready for week 1. And if I'm the Cardinals, I'm not rushing him back anytime soon. There would be 0 point to it, in my opinion. So if you can get Tyler Algier for where he's going, might be a good start to the season. I think it's going to be a team that we talked about before. It's going to be behind the entire year, just like it has been for many, many years before with Kyler Murray and the crew. Should be throwing the ball all over the place. Might be something just to watch on the waiver wire, see which one of these receivers really starts to take command of, which quarterback, which favorite's going to be, and maybe pick that up off the waiver wire one a little bit down the road.
Algier is one of those guys who I'll have every week in like my touchdown parlay because he's just a guy who's able to kind of rumble, bumble, stumble, and get in there. And he did it with Atlanta for many years. Obviously, backing up Bijan is not ideal. Now he's going to get a little bit more of a chance, a little bit more burn here.
Absolutely. So just a quick recap here, Jeff. Let's get the picks on the book because I know I was a little wishy-washy on a few. The NFC West, I have the Rams. I'm just going to go with the favorite there. I do believe that the San Francisco 49ers come in second, but I do believe all 3 of these teams are going to be very, very close. I think a game could decide first to third. So I do like that one. You like the Seahawks to repeat? Is that correct?
No, I'm with you on the Rams. I am.
Okay. And then for the NFC East,
it's just the number sucks. Like if I was going to bet a number, I would bet Seattle because they're plus 220. I don't want to bet the Rams at minus 110. It's not going to be on my board. It's not going to be part of anything I'm involved in. Even Chad was saying, like, if you want to bet them future wise, they're like plus 500. Like, it's not something that I want to.
Well, if you're going to do that, if you're really going to go with the Rams, you might as well just take them at the Super Bowl odds, right? I mean, that's the only way you're going to get them plus money. And then for the NFC East, we're both on the Cowboys this year. Both on the Cowboys to win. Look at that, everybody. Me and Jeffrey are aligned.
We're aligned on a plus 300 division winner. So tail at your own risk.
Yeah, I love it. Plus 300. Nice.
Dak gets hurt to start the year, just talking over.
So we talked about our next show Monday. We'll be back Monday. After that, it's going to be a little bit sketchy. We'll be back next Monday. We're going to break down our 2 favorite divisions, the NFC North, which the reigning Chicago Bears champions will command, and then Jeffrey on the NFC South, who finished second to the Panthers. The Tampa Bay
we will get in a show this coming Monday, and then we'll do another one the following Monday, which would be the 31st, I believe, right?
And yeah, absolutely. And so the Monday show might go a little bit longer then, because we're probably going to get in our college a little bit preview, correct?
Yeah.
Or are we back before college? No, right?
No, we're not. Well, and actually, we'll have to fit in a little bit of college going into the next Monday show because technically college does start.
So I meant
Saturday.
Our show coming up Monday might be a little bit longer.
Correct.
Might be a little bit of a banger.
Yep.
Although college football, bro, I don't know about you. I know that college football is one of your passions, right? It's never really been up that high for me, but I honestly, I hate to say this, dude. I could care less about college football anymore.
It's become tough. 2023 super disenfranchised me. As a Florida State fan, that was one of the toughest things.
Was that the year that you were undefeated and didn't make the playoffs?
Correct.
That would be a kick in the nuts.
So that really that disenfranchised me, and then also just the entire way that everything is now is basically like whoever has the most money. There's no salary cap. They have to come up with a salary cap. They have to figure out the realignment stuff. They have to figure everything out. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to be responsible for it. It just kind of sucks. So it is what it is.
Well, you're looking to the lawmakers. That's going to be the biggest issue. Well, that's going to do it for us today on the Uninformed Fan. We really appreciate everybody coming in. All of our new followers on TikTok, welcome in. YouTube, Twitch, all of those guys, X as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be back next Monday at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. If you do happen to be out on the roads until then, please, for the love of God, stay out of the left-hand lane.
Stay very blessed and highly favored.